iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome back to the Joe Six-Pack Racing League. Here tonight, we got the LugCoin 90 here at New Hampshire. Qualifying is underway right now as we see trucks on the track here. I believe we have Levi McCarthy, last week's winner, out here on track. We'll see that nice 51 Gravedigger machine in action here as we'll pull up the leaderboards and see where everyone shakes on out. As we get it up to date here, it looks like Doug Neal is at the top of the charts here with Levi in second right now. We're in store for a good one here at New Hampshire. Another mile-long track, but this time very different than Dover. Last week we had 27 degrees of banking. This week we have 2 to 7 degrees of banking in the corner, so you got to drive this track very differently. It's all about finesse through the corners here. We'll see who can get it done here tonight for round number 2 of 13 of the LugCoin Truck Series here at Joe Six-Pack Racing League. As we see Levi come to a stop, we'll see who else we can maybe get out on track here. Looks like we got the 76 of Joe Nelson out here. Looks like he's wrapping up his time. Let's see if Gene Cato's under power here. And looks like he is as well bringing it to pit. So we'll have to see who we got. Looks like we got Jason Wiley out here. A little bit loose off of the turn, but keeps it facing the right direction. Now here, folks at home, a little weird thing with iRacing. You cannot hit the wall in qualifying or else your lap cannot count. So drivers will have to keep that in mind as they continue to go on. As we'll look here at some more damaged race cars. We got Matthew Wheeler here. Let's see where he can slide on in. Right now he's 14th. Let's see if he can improve that time here on his second lap. And it looks like no, he was not able to improve. So looks like most people have wrapped up qualifying for the most part. It looks like we have about 23 cars here tonight. 22 have taken a time, with Doug Neal out at the top of the charts right now, tied actually with Levi McCarthy. So a tie for the pole here. So very close times throughout. As we click over to the end of qualifying, we'll go over some track facts here and some race information. So, of course, we're at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Another 1 mile track, just like Dover, except this one's a little bit more paperclip-esque, like I said before, a lot less banking. Joe Sixpack Racing League is presented, of course, by LugCoin. LugCoin has just jumped on as the title sponsor for the Truck Series. Be sure if you're looking into some crypto, check out LugCoin. They just was created. Get it for a great price right now. Of course, we got to thank Soma Coffee here at Joe Sixpack Racing League. Plan B sales. Be sure to use JS. I got the code here, folks. Don't worry. Use code JSP for free shipping. So if you plan to use any Plan B sales for your racing needs, use code JSP for free shipping. Of course, we got to thank DTL Custom Graphics for being a part of this, and Joe Sixpack Podcast. If you ever want to listen to a great podcast, be sure to tune into that one here and learn all the things about Joe Sixpack Racing League. As we end qualifying here, Doug Neal will start on pole position here tonight, and we will go through the rest of the starting grid for the LugCoin 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So starting on pole position, we got Doug Neal in the 899. Second place, we got Levi McCarthy in the 51. Starting on the second row inside is James Krause in the 14. To his outside is Michael Rosenberg with the 782 machine, different number here tonight. And rounding out your top 5 is Keith Fornesca in the 61. Starting at P6 is Eli Ropenza in the 898 machine. Starting 7th is Brad Yukman in the 93. 8th place is Al Reed in that 3 truck. 9th is Wes Frank Norman in the 72. And rounding out your top 10 is Gene Cato in the 8. Starting 11th is David Lomaga in the 34. Hopefully we got his name right this time, folks. Starting to his outside is Richard Weifenbach in the 657. P13 goes to Rob Lowe in the 21. 14th is Matthew Wheeler in the 768. 15th is Joe Nelson in the 76. 16th is Ethan Michaels in the 897. 17th is David Hartney in the 97. 18th is Mike Killenbeck in the 70. 19th is Marty Brown in the 41 machine. 20th goes to Johnny Baker in the 6. Greg Dreiss in the 64 car will start 21st. 22nd is Jason Wiley in the 23. And that rounds out your field here, folks. Actually, we got Jeff Crosby in the 33 rounding out your field here, starting in P27. As the lights are out on the pace car, that means we are getting ready to go green here, folks. We'll wait for Doug Neal in that Simbox 77 or 899 machine on my scoring to launch off and go green. He had a great showing last week, finished 3rd. Let's see if he can do better this time. As we see the green flag, we fire off, and we are green flag for the LugCoin 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As all the trucks dive down into turn 1, it looks like everyone makes it through the corner cleanly here, folks. As they go down the backstretch, Levi almost gets into the wall, does a great job staying off of it, but that opens up the door for Keith Fornesca to slide into the bottom side of that 51 machine. As they drag race down the front straightaway, Keith Fornesca does clear as we got them wrecking in the background. We are under yellow here for the first time here of the race, and I believe, let's see what the cause for the yellow flag was, as the 72 was involved there with maybe a blinking car, as he has already turned sideways, folks, and hard hit for that 897 machine there. As the 70 and the 76 get involved, Looks like whoever was able to slow down in time and stay out of that wreck there in that green truck. But a couple big hits there down the front stretch. Let's see if we see it one more time here, folks. And it looks like the 657 gets loose or maybe blinks on out and sideswipes the 76. And that will create the first caution of tonight's race. Now remember, folks at home, there is 2 fast repairs in the garage. So that means if they're involved in a wreck, as long as they can make it to pits, they can get their car repaired by their crew guys and come back out. But you only got a limited amount of those. Like I said, only 2. So you don't want to use them too early, especially lap 2 of a 90-lap race here tonight. As we see some familiar faces starting to trend up through this field. We see Doug Neal. He had a great run, was running second most of the last race at Dover. Had a couple incidents at the end of the race, but it was able to hang on the 3rd place position. He is P3 in points. Right now looking good leading this race. He got a bonus point for qualifying on the pole. We'll see if he can continue to lead this race and see what kind of events will unfold in this 90-lap race. We saw some craziness happen at Dover last week. Let's see what's in store here for this 90-lapper at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As we wait for, I believe the lights should get extinguished on the pace car this time by. And that they do, so the field will double up here. Doug Neal will lead us to green. He can fire off whenever he wants. He doesn't have to wait for the green flag to wave this time. But to his outside, James Krause up 2 positions already in that 14 machine. It's looking pretty sporty. He will start to his outside. And Levi McCarthy, who last week's winner, already down 2 positions, will start in the 4th position. So far, still all 23 trucks still out on track. As the field comes to turns 3 and 4, we'll wait for Doug Neal to fire off in that Simbox 77 truck. The pace car dives down pit road. Now it goes in the hands of Doug Neal. Doug fires off nice and early, gets a great jump over the rest of the field. Clears James Krause by at least 3 truck lengths as they head into turn 1. That opens the door for Keith Forneska now to the inside of James Krause. We'll see if James can carry the momentum. It looks like it. And James will take back 2nd place. As the top 3 have strung out single file. Now side by side we got Michael Rotzenberger with Levi, and we got another yellow flag here, folks. We'll see what the cause of this one was. Looks like one truck backed into the wall, may have gotten some help. Let's see if we can get a different angle on this wreck and see what may have happened. As we'll look to the 768 truck of Matthew Wheeler as they go down into the corner here. On the brakes hard with the 8 to his inside, and oh man, a little bit of contact for sure, some neck code between him and Gene Cato. But the 768 with the worst end of that, as we see one truck sliding to a stop to avoid piling on in. So another truck with early problems here at New Hampshire. As I believe that was a 76 car, Joe Nelson, that came sliding in there to avoid the wreck. Did a great job at avoiding the wreck. we look through this field, folks, Jason Wiley in this Neon 13 machine is currently the biggest mover of this race. Not too many green flag laps to get the biggest mover, just keeping that nose clean of that 13 truck. Already up 8 positions here early in this race. We'll see if he can continue to head to the front. As we look at the front of the field now with Doug Neal, the lights do get extinguished once again here at New Hampshire. We are looking to go green next time by. Doug Neal has led every lap of the 9, coming up to 10 that we've had in this race. We'll see if he can continue to stay out front. We'll see how strategy comes into play, as they only get 60% of the fuel here in these trucks, so they will have to pit for fuel at some time during this race. We'll have to keep an eye on when and if they do get tires, because they have 3 sets of tires total with the set on the trucks that they start on, or 2 sets of tires over the wall for tonight's race. As we'll wait for the pace car to make the hard left down pit road. Then the restart goes into Doug Neal's hands, and he can fire off whenever he feels ready. As we are green flag racing here once again for the LugCoin 90. Doug Neal with another great start. This time about 3 truck lengths once again going into turn number 1 over James Krause. James Krause able to roll that middle and gets a big run on Doug Neal coming down this backstretch. New Hampshire is such a tricky tracks here, folks. It used to be one of my least favorite tracks with how much finesse it takes to get around this place, but as I've gotten more seat time in the sim and other racing games, I definitely come to enjoy it, because this track is all about finesse on corner entry, just balancing that car on. Like I like to say, when you're driving a race car, it's like being on a rocking chair. You want to tip back as far as you can in the seat without tipping on over, and that's what it's kind of like here on entry into the corner. You're kind of playing with the car, or in this case the truck, just trying to feel it on out, and then roll that middle as fast as you can without blowing off that right front. So we see these leaders doing a great job at doing just that. As we look a little bit further in this field with some battles going on, as we have Eli Ropanza under fire from Gene. Oh, as Gene gets turned down the backstretch, a big wreck here as trucks get woed down to miss it. A pretty big wreck here, as we'll go back and try and see what may have started that. Looks like, oh man, Jim Cato maybe got turned off the nose of the 21 of, I believe that is Rob Blow over there. So a bummer for that, as a couple cars there get involved. As we might try and see if we can get one more view of that wreck. As we'll see, the 21 car gets a great run off the corner here. And then as they continue to come on off, oh, he gets loose. That's what happens. Rob gets loose, tries to stay off the 8, and just barely clips that right rear. But at these speeds, any sort of contact would turn some cars. So a tough break for all those involved, as we see some damaged trucks here once again. As we see a couple coming down pit road. The likes of David Lomaga, Jason Wiley, who we were just talking about, one of the biggest movers in this race. And of course, Gene Cato, also down pit road. So overall in this race, a couple yellow flags. You got some comments. Maybe we could do some over-under on yellow flags here tonight, folks. I see we got a YouTube comment out there in the YouTube wastelands. We got Terry Foster up there saying, what's up? How's it going, Terry? Hopefully you're liking what you're seeing. Be sure to comment your favorite drivers so they can get some screen time for you. Maybe with a moment here. I believe we'll be going to 1 to go. As the lights do get extinguished on the pace car, we will have restart number 3 of tonight's race. We haven't had too many laps under green flag here, so drivers aren't too worried about those sets of tires over the wall here, as they haven't used up the tires too much yet, but that could change here very quickly. With even 5 laps on the tires here at New Hampshire can make a world of difference. With how little banking, it definitely punishes the right front, especially with these heavy trucks out here. As the pace car pulls on off, we'll wait for Doug Neal to fire on off. Doug Neal fires on off. We are green flag racing here once again. And this time, James Krause with a better restart once again. Doesn't let Doug get too far away as they head through turns 1 and 2. Mike over in that 782 car rolling that high side and able to clear Keith Fornesca. So move up Mike there into the P3 spot as he now tries to chase down James Krause in that second position. Most of the field now single filed on out, but we still of course got some battles looking a little bit deeper in this field. We almost got some 3 wide there as David Hartney thinks better of it in that 97 machine. Currently, Al Reed to the inside and clear of Eli Rapanza. Now Eli under fire from David. David able to clear. Now Eli now on the wrong end of things as he's now under fire once again from Ethan Michaels. Look a little bit further back here at the likes of Mike Killingback in the 70 car. We also got Jeff Crosby Sr. in that sweet looking Hooters ride out here running in the 15th position. One of the biggest movers in this race so far. Let's see if he can keep on going the right direction here, as now he'll look under fire actually from that 13 car who was involved in that last caution. Trying to see if he can get back through this field, but Jeff Crosby Sr. able to defend the position and hold on to P15. As we got to, of course, put the camera at least on once of David Lomaga in that DTL Customs 34 truck. A sweet looking truck. I always love some neon green with some white and black, and that's a sweet looking truck out here. As, oh man, Jeff Crosby with a big save down the backstretch. Had to jump out of line though and loses a couple spots because of it. But a great save from that 33 truck. As we go up to the front, the top 2 have checked out in this race. Doug Neal has only a quarter-second lead over James Krause, but they have checked out to about a 2-second lead over third place of Levi McCartney. So these front 2 runners have this track figured on out, and then the rest of the field is fighting between themselves to try and figure out where they're getting their speed from. See it also in chat, we got Jeff Crosby over here cheering on Senior. So yep, we showed the camera a little bit on Jeff Crosby before, but having a pretty good run right now, up 5 positions from where he started, but hopefully he can bring that Hooters 33 machine more up to the front. For the most part, folks, We got Al Reed on the move, trying to apply the pressure to Mike Rosenberger here. Now, Rosenberger goes to the inside of Keith Forneska, and that opens up the door for Al to dive into that corner to make sure he gets the position, and now he'll be to the inside of Keith coming off of turn 4. Seems like the trend tonight here, folks, is if you get stuck on the high side, there's only one way you're moving, and that's towards the back. No one has able to make too much action on this high side of the track, so we'll have to see if that continues, or maybe as this inside line rubbers in more, maybe we'll see trucks slowly start to move higher and higher in the groove. It's now the 97 truck of David Hartney to the inside of Keith Forneska for the 6th position. So David Hartney right now, we're looking at that green and red 97 truck, is the biggest mover of the race as of right now, up 11 spots, and looking to increase that as he looks to the inside of Al Reed going into turn 3. Floats it on in there nicely, rolls the middle, awesome. Moves up to the door number of the 3 car. Let's see what kind of run they can get and see if he can keep it behind him. As almost some contact there going down the front stretch, a little bit of side draft maybe at New Hampshire. As now David has the advantage, now a quarter truck in front of Al, but Al will be able to carry the momentum down this backstretch. They are still side by side, door to door going into turn 3. As David may have overdrove it a little, that opens up the door back for Al on the inside. A little bit of crossover move as they come out of turn 4. As he is able to clear, now sets his sights on Mike Rosenberger in that 782 in 4th position. So David Hartney now in the top 5. As we go back up to the front, Doug Neal continues to lead the way, but now under fire a little bit from James Krause. James Krause not making it easy for Doug here. As we see in the distance though, lap traffic may become a factor here, as Levi has actually chipped into these leaders' lead here. He's chipped off about half a second, running a really high line. I don't know if that's just for that corner or not, but Levi with maybe a different line and seems to be working as he is slowly catching these leaders. As David Hartley now clears the pass for 4th position, so see what that 97 has is he is now up 13 positions in this race, by far the biggest mover. As we are already a quarter of the way through this race. We are 30 laps in, 60 laps to go here for the LugCoin 90 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As James Krause, I believe, has a fender on Doug Neal going into turn 3. Let's see how they can make this work, how they can make it stick. Right on the inside. Oh, maybe some contact there coming off the corner. As we saw James Krause's fender almost inside of Doug Neal's here, so these guys are giving it them all. James knows that this is the time to pounce. Doug knows that he has to defend this position. So these guys are going at it already. Lap 30 of 90. Well, excuse me, 31. As they continue a side-by-side battle for the race lead. Now they are door-to-door going down the front stretch. James Krause on the inside, Doug Neal on the high side. James able to drive it a little bit deeper, roll that middle a little bit better, but now Doug Neal will have the momentum on the high side. As they pull back door to door of each other. As James able to drive it in a little bit deeper, does clear Doug Neal. So new race leader this time around. James Krause in the 14 truck will lead lap 33 of 90. And don't look too far back as Levi McCarthy, with those two battling, has opened up the door for that 51 truck and now is within a second of the leaders with those two battling for so long. Levi is running a different line, a very high line, and he's actually making it work pretty good. The question is that hurting the tires of this 51 truck? Will he be able to keep it under him this whole race, or will the tires start to go sooner than the rest of the guys around here? As actually, I might try and jump in car with the 51 machine and see if I'm hearing this right. As he goes to the inside of Doug Neal, I believe I hear the 51 car of Levi shifting, so I don't know how many other trucks are out here shifting, but for sure the 51 truck of Levi is shifting out here tonight, folks, so we'll have to keep an ear out for that as we get the Soma coffee in car of Levi McCarthy here for a few laps, listening to him work that steering wheel throttle and the gearbox here at New Hampshire. As he gets a great run off that corner and looks to the inside of Doug Neal and actually clears him. Doug will try a crossover, as you see in his mirror. Levi had to wait a little bit on the throttle, but Doug also had to wait on the throttle, so gives second place to Levi McCarthy in this 51 car. Let's see if he can chase down this leader at all. Levi almost puts it in the wall there. I don't think you could get too much closer than that, but he will get a great run off the corner with such a high line. But James Krause has now checked out to about almost a 1.5 second lead over Levi. As I don't hear the 14 car shifting, so we'll have to see if anyone else is shifting out here. Maybe Levi's figured out something that no one else has. As now David Hartney is applying the pressure to Doug Neal for this third position. We'll see if David can make a move. He has ran down these leaders from being way in the pack. Like I said before, folks, up 13 positions, trying to make it now up 14 positions. As he will dive to the inside of Doug Neal going in the corner. Looks like he's able to get to the throttle pretty well there and get the run. So it looks like David Hartley will clear him and move into the podium positions. As most of the field has strung on out. Ethan Michaels, a big mover in this race as well. Up 9 positions now, applying the pressure to Mike Rosenberger. As he will now have the inside line going into turn 3. Looks like Rosenberger's right front tire might be going a little bit on that truck, as he is struggling to make these corners, as we see him very close to that wall on exit. So that will give the position to Ethan Michaels and move him up into P6. talked about him a little bit here. Another Hooters truck, this 898 machine of Eli Rapanzo. Maybe we'll talk about him a little bit more as we look at him here, folks. As this 989 machine, 898, excuse me, machine is running in P8. He is from Westport, Massachusetts. And if he wasn't here sim racing here tonight, and if the weather was good up there in Massachusetts, it's a bit winter time, so a bit cold, wouldn't be the best for this, but you would find Eli out here doing some bass fishing. So if you're ever in that area and want to go some bass fishing, be sure to hit up Eli out here. I know I'd love to do that. That's always a great time there and a great pastime, but as he's doing now, would love to be behind the wheel ripping around these trucks here at New Hampshire. So as they put the 21 truck of Rob Lowe a lap down here. A tough night for him, running in last place, but all trucks still out on track here tonight, folks, so awesome to see that. As with this great run of David Hartney, we'll maybe talk about him. David Hartney from Austin, Texas, here in this 97 machine. He is on Team Dirtbag Racing. Gotta thank some sponsors on that truck with the likes of Dirtbag Clothing and Ayers Painting. A pretty sweet paint scheme for that 97 machine. Reminds me of very Italian. I'm not sure if, I assume that's what they're going for with it, but that's what it reminds me of. Very Italian paint scheme there. He really likes some road racing, but we find him out here tonight on the oval as he looks to the high side of Levi. Let's see if he can carry the momentum and get it past done, maybe a crossover move. As actually, we'll see some cars with some green flag pit stops here, folks. And some goals for David as he comes down pit road is have fun, race competitively, and take it a little bit more serious than the open hosted lobbies. And he is racing competitively here tonight in the third position as he comes down pit road. So the race lead will be handed over to Ethan Michaels in the 898 as most of the leaders have pitted on lap 47 of 90. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. We'll see if anyone got any speeding penalties or anything crazy like that. As Ethan Michaels will continue to stay on track. Now David Lomaga in the 34 truck is in P2. But right on his tail is Keith Fornesca. All these trucks still waiting to pit. They're going to stay out as long as they can and try and use that advantage of fresh tires to see if they can run down the cars around them. As the 897 of Ethan Michaels continues to lead the way, we'll see how long he'll go before he ends up pitting. What he's hoping to see, folks, is a yellow flag that he doesn't have to worry about pitting under green and can keep this track position. But the guys, the likes of David Hartney, Doug Neal, Levi McCarthy, all want to see this go green flag and cycle on through. As we see Rob Lowe getting a lap back on the leader here. That was not for position, folks. As we see the 41 of Marty Brown go a lap down but he will most likely get his lap back, as I believe he pitted for a tire, so he'll be on fresh rubber behind the leader here. See, the leader continues to stay out on track, but that's the difference to the leader there, folks, is as they're on the leader's most likely on the front stretch. Halfway behind the track is James Krause, who pitted from the lead, already back up into the 4th position though, and making great time as he does it. As we see here, he does pull away from Hartney a little bit in these corners, and of course catching the lap car of Gene Cato very quickly here. So we see James Krause here. His lap times compared to David Lomaga on old tires about 2 seconds quicker a lap, so these guys that stay out on old tires this late, they're losing about 2 seconds to the leader each and every lap. So they got to try and make up that time with fresh tires, but they are losing a lot of time out, staying out this late. They are just hoping for a yellow with them staying out this late. As we see Keith Fornesca on the inside of the 14 machine, trying to make sure he stays ahead of this leader once these pit cycles on out. As almost contact there, James Krause had to maybe take a little bit of evasive maneuvers as Ethan Michaels does pit, and that hands the race lead over to David Lomaga. As I heard it here, folks, the 34 will be pitting this time on by, so with him pitting, that will hand the race back over to the 14 of James Krause. As the 34 dives down pit road there on screen, folks, that will hand the race lead over to James Krause. Once again, he will lead lap 56 of 90, and that will cycle on through green flag pit stops. The question is, will they be able to make it to the end, or will they have to come to pits one more time, as there is still 35 laps to go here in this race. Matthew Wheeler in P7 right now, but Mike Rosenberger right on his tail there on this inside line. And same with Ethan Michaels on some of the freshest tires out here. We'll see how these three trucks can battle out here on track. Ethan Michaels will look to the inside of the 782 as they head down into turn 3. Ethan has about, I want to say, 8 lap newer tires than the trucks around him, as he's able to clear the 768 as well. So Ethan is on fresh tires by about 8 laps or so compared to the trucks around him. We'll see how much time he can make up with the time that he did lose staying out on those old tires. As we look up to the front of the field, we'll get some LugCoin speed shots going here as we close to 2/3 of this race down. as we hear, folks, some trucks out here on track shifting, some not. As David Hartney up 15 positions right now in second place. About 4 seconds behind the leader, though, so if he has a shot at this win, he's got to hope for a yellow or a big incident out of that 14 car who's leading the way. Doug Neal sitting in a comfortable third position. About a 1 second gap to the truck in front, a 1 second gap to the truck behind of Levi McCarthy. Speaking about Levi, he is our 4th place runner, of course, if he's behind Doug Neal. Won last week, looking to be at least on the podium here tonight and get another interview with Brett the Jet. We'll have to see if he can get it done, as maybe some contact with the wall that time coming out of turn number 2. Running in the 5th position, we got Al Reed in the 3. In 6th place, we got Ethan Michaels, one of the late pitters there, up to P6. We'll see if he can run down anyone. While we're looking at him, we'll see if he has lap time compared to the cars around him. As he, last time by, was about half a second quicker. We'll see if he can continue that. At that time, only 0.2 quicker, but he is eating at the gap to the car in front of him. But it's a large gap, as Al Reed is 12 seconds ahead of him, so with only 0.2 a lap, he will definitely run out of time to catch Al Reed. In the 7th position, we got Michael Rosenberger. 8th place, right behind him, we got Matthew Wheeler. 9th place is Keith Fornesca in the 61 machine. And rounding out your top 10 is David Lomaga in that 34 truck. As we see there, folks, the 14 car not too far behind David Lomaga. Currently, we have only 11 trucks on this lead lap, and James Krause will continue to look to put more cars a lap down as he is closing the gap to Eli Ropanza in the 11th position. As James crosses the start-finish line here, 23 laps to go for this DC number 14 machine. A very bright looking truck out here with all sorts of neon colors splashed over that thing. As Doug Neal has started to close the gap a little bit to David Hartney in that 2nd position. We got Mike Killing back in that 70 truck in there as well, but he is a lap down, so he's just making sure he stays out of the way, but keeping some pretty good pace with these front runners. A bummer to see him shuffle that far back, with him being able to keep this pace for that 70 truck. Might have had a penalty on pit road. But currently the first truck a lap down, so that 70 truck wants to see a yellow, as he would be the lucky dog candidate. As we saw, folks, 3 yellows early in this race, but since then, all green flag racing from around lap, I want to say 20-25. So some great racing these drivers have been putting on here recently, as we head over to 70 laps down, 20 laps to go, as we got a battle now for the 2nd position Doug Neal trying the high side, seeing if he can get the crossover move to work on David. David gets a little bit loose off the corner, but Doug just doesn't have enough speed. He will try the high side, but don't look too far back, as Levi is right there as well. Doug able to get the crossover move done. So Doug Neal now to the inside. We'll see if he can continue to keep it there. As contact, Levi gets into the back of the 97, and trouble for the second place runner. Oh my goodness. That will bring out the fourth caution. And we saw it here live. We saw it coming. We'll watch it one more time. As Levi just gets in there a little bit too hot and gets to the left rear of the 97. And that will turn someone every single time. So, a quick yellow, but that will most likely bring all the cars down pit road. We'll have to see the strategy unfolding now here, folks. As we now start inside of 20 to go, we'll see. I assume everyone will come down pits, but that may be shaken up here as we are under our fourth caution of the night. We had a guess for 6 cautions. I don't believe we'll hit that mark. We'll have to see if more and more cautions happen. We are at caution number 4 here. We'll see if we can hit that 6 mark, as someone guessed in the YouTube chat. As we see most of the leaders coming down pit road, but a couple cars staying on out. The likes of Ethan Michaels and Michael Rosenberger. A lot of cars staying on out to get a lap back as well. Now this is where the drama unfolds here, folks. Be sure to head to the bathroom now under this yellow, because it's about to get crazy, as the gloves will come off for all these truck drivers here tonight. It's going to be a wild about 15 lap shootout. 15 miles to go to decide tonight's winner. Will James Krause get it done, or will we have a different winner? Will we see Levi go for 2 in a row? Only time will tell. As we get a few more trucks back on the lead lap. We got a couple trucks out here in front of the leader here, because they will get waved around with 1 lap to go and get a lap back. As the trucks that did pit, Doug Neal does come out in front of everyone else. Maybe he had a 2 tire stop, a little bit of strategy, but he will be starting P3, leading the trucks on fresh tires. Our leader down pit road, James Krause, will be starting all the way back in the 6th position. As the lights get extinguished on this pace car, we will double them up and get ready to go green. As the drama will continue to unfold, as the front row is on old tires. We'll have to see how the field behind them navigates them, see how they can hold on up. As most everyone has used up both sets of tires over the wall. I'm not sure how many trucks have saved an extra set now. If they have, they're hoping for another yellow and try and use them on up to get a big advantage over the trucks that use them this time by. Lights are extinguished on the pace car. We'll wait for it to make a hard left-hand turn down pit road. Then the restart falls into the hands of Ethan Michael. We'll see if he has any tire spin as he launches pretty well. No tire spin out of the 897. We are green flag racing here once again at New Hampshire. Doug Neal to the inside of Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger in the sucker hole at 3 wide coming out of turn 2. All the trucks able to make it work as we see a couple 3 wide instances on this track as these trucks on fresh tires trying to make it work with around these trucks on old tires. We see Doug Neal to the outside of Ethan Michaels for the race lead. Doug Neal will lead this lap and once again retake this lead of this race with 13 laps to go. As we got a yellow flag here. It looks like Matt Wheeler involved. We'll have to see what may have happened. As Keith Fornesca got in there maybe a little bit hot and got into the back bumper of the 768 and with some extra hard contact. So a 2-car crash there. But that will bunch up the field. But this time Doug Neal will be starting on the front row in pole position with those fresh tires. As a couple trucks late in that had to make some evasive maneuvers to not get involved. So we are under caution number 5 for tonight's race. As once we go back racing green, we will be inside of 10 laps to go in this race. Doug Neal, our pole sitter, I believe has led the most. It'll be close between Doug Neal and James Krause for the most laps led. But Doug Neal for sure put it on the pole. Let's see if he can put it in victory lane here tonight. As we see Doug Neal here leading the way in this race from McDonough. And of course, a LugCoin Truck Series driver here tonight. Of course, sponsored by Simbox. Be sure if you're looking for any sort of button boxes or anything for your sim rig, be sure to check out Simbox on Facebook. They do an awesome job. I heard they do some awesome customizations as well. So if you're in the market, be sure to check out Simbox and talk to our race leader, Doug Neal. As I believe we'll have 2 laps, 2 green in this race. I should say 2 laps, 2 green flag. As we got an extra pace lap to let the trucks that are a lap down to pit. So we'll go through the field, maybe look at some cool paint schemes. As the 70 truck of Mike Killenback, I saw it a little bit before. I wanted to maybe get a closer look. It looked pretty good. Of the U.S. Marines number 70 truck. Another sweet scheme. A whole bunch of tongue twister out here, folks. Sweet schemes on these trucks here tonight. Try and say that 10 times fast. As we'll look a little bit further in the back, a very similar scheme that we saw to the 97 truck. All part of the same team of Wes Frank Norman out here in the 72 truck. Gene Cato with that sweet looking chrome number 8 truck. Gotta get a good look at that. And of course, the simple but nice looking truck of this 41, following that body lines of that black, blue, and white truck. Another sweet looking truck. As we are double filed on out, coming to green with 8 laps to go once they take the green flag here for restart number 5. We'll see how Ethan Michaels can hold on up, because Michael Rosenberger already fell back to P5 from starting on that outside front row. We'll see if Ethan follows the same fate, as we'll wait for the pace car to head down pit road, and then the restart will go into the hands of Doug Neal. As Doug Neal fires on off, gets a great restart over the rest of this field, and will clear the field by 3 truck lengths or so going into turn 1. David Hartney to the inside of Ethan will make it sick. Now Eli does the same. Eli will try and slot into P3 here. As Doug Neal continues to lead the way, David Hartney in second, and Eli not quite able to clear Ethan. Finally does in that corner, but that slows him on up and may open the door for Al Lee, one of the dominant trucks back here as well, of James Krause that we're riding on board with in the 14 truck, trying to get back in this top 3. Couple instances in the back, but I believe they were not enough to bring out a yellow, as they were below the racing line. As we see Eli trying to apply the pressure to David Hartney, and now here comes James Krause trying to get back into the podium, try and get an interview. As we cross over to 5 laps to go in this race, Doug Neal has a healthy lead over this field. All he's hoping to see is no yellow flag. The rest of the field hoping to see one more yellow to try and give it one more shot. James Krause racing his heart out. Same with all these trucks right here, trying to make it happen. As Levi looks to the inside, that opens up the door for the outside of James Krause. As contact once again. Oh my goodness. David Hartney with another heartbreak back into the wall. We'll have to see what happened as Levi looks to the inside. David trying to defend the position with inside of 5 laps to go. They lift going into turn 3, and Levi, oh man, that's a tough one to call, folks. We'll have to leave that one up to the viewers watching at home, as there was not too much room for anything as a late racing right there, and just ran out of room for both the drivers. So a tough break for David here with such a strong run. For sure the biggest mover of this race, but now will be marred back in this field with some damage. As we have hit that 6th caution of tonight's race. As this will probably go to the one and only green-white checkered here tonight. If that's the case, just like the initial start, the leader will have to wait for the green flag to fire on off. Doug cannot get a great jump like he has been all racing long, so we'll have to see how that affects him and see if that gives an opportunity to Levi to try and make it 2 in a row. We also see James Krause up to that 3rd position. He has a shot at this win once again with that yellow flag. We'll have to see how aggressive he is. See what unfolds at this one attempt at a green-white checkered. But remember, folks, if we see the white flag, that means the race will end under checkered. So if we get a wreck, just like at Dover, you got to race it on out. If we get a yellow flag before the white flag, the race will end under yellow. a whole bunch of scenarios playing on out. The fans up on their feet for this final restart. Hopefully you viewers at home up on your feet, because this is about to get crazy. Absolutely no give and take left in these tanks for these drivers, and as I hate to say it, going into full send mode. As this time by at the start finish line, the light should be extinguished on the iRacing pace car. We'll see these guys double on up and go for this final attempt at a green-white checkered. As Doug Neal was not hoping to see that yellow flag, he was checked out and had this race in the bag. Now comes the most stressful part, the final restart. Doug has to make sure he hits all his marks, keep an eye on that mirror, make sure no one tries to dive it in to his inside or outside. Levi on his outside will need the restart of his life to make it 2 for 2. And then James Krause trying to retake this lead after being so dominant in that long run. Let's see what happens. As the pace car will come down pit road, Doug Neal will wait for the green flag here. As they fire on off for the final time here for the LugCoin 90 at New Hampshire. James Krause able to get on it. Al Reed sideways. That will bring out the caution as they continue to pile on in. Doug Neal will win this race. James Krause will get second. And Levi McCarthy will round out your top 3, as David Lomaga will be 4th, and Mike Killingback, all the way from a lap down, will finish in the 5th position and be the biggest mover. We'll have to see what happened in that wreck, as we'll try and go and see what happened. As Al Reed may have gotten some help from Ethan Michaels, and then everyone else piles on in this wreck, and some hard hits here throughout this wreck. We'll have to maybe see one more time from Ethan Michaels here. As we see them coming into turn 1 off that green-white checkered. Al Reed trying to make it work, trying to get to the inside of Levi, and just slight contact with Ethan. And that'll be enough to send him on around. And then the rest of the field piles on in. And oh man, some major contact for Al Reed and the rest of the field. So we will go back up to the front. Doug Neal will win this race under yellow. Another awesome race here to broadcast. Hopefully all the fans on their feet for that finish. Doug Neal will get it done in that 77 Simbox truck. Put it on the pole and we'll put it in victory lane here tonight. As we will try and see if Doug Neal will burn it down for us here at home. As we see Doug Neal burning it down for the viewers at home in that Simbox 77 truck, able to bring it in victory lane here tonight for the LugCoin 90. So we will get to the rest of these drivers here as we go to commercial and try and get a word with this top 3 finishers.
sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here. We're trying to get a hold of Levi, our third place finisher. Let's see if we can get him. Levi, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, Levi. How was the truck out here tonight? You were able to park it in victory lane last week. Once again, back in the podium talking to me. How are you able to do it? And how was the 51 truck here tonight?
I felt like I was slower than Doug on the short run and slower than James on the long run. So I think I had around a third to fifth place truck. So I gotta apologize to David. I got into him twice in the race and kind of ruined his race, and I feel bad about that. Both times just careless mistakes and nothing intentional, but that's not really an excuse of any kind. So I gotta apologize to him for that. But in qualifying, I felt decent. Had a decent time in qualifying, and then, like I said, somewhere around a top 5 truck tonight. So being able to finish third is okay.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, a pretty good run for you. That's some good sportsmanship there, Levi, for claiming those. And yeah, tough break for that 97 truck. But overall, once again, talking to me, maybe how was the truck feeling? I rode on board with you at some point tonight. I heard you were shifting, and you had that wild line of really entering high. What was kind of the thoughts behind both those?
Yeah, that's where I could get my drive off the corner decent, was entering high and dropping it down to third and getting down low to get the truck loose off of exit, and it felt pretty decent. It took me about halfway through the first run to really dial it in and figure it out, but yeah, we executed okay on pit road and didn't have any mistakes there, which is usually one of my issues. So felt pretty good. I believe we go to a road course next week, so that you will not be talking to me next week. That is my absolute
Gotcha. So yeah, with a road course not being your strong suit, with you being pretty well in points with a win and third, what's your goals going forward in the season as we look a little bit maybe past the road course?
Yeah, any mile-and-a-half track is my favorite, and where my driving skills are a little bit more polished right now. So I'm looking forward to some tracks towards the end of the season. I know Kansas and Las Vegas are both on there, 2 good tracks. But yeah, I got to thank Fairfield Auto Group, Fairfield Motorsports. Yeah, it for the most part, it was a little disappointing to kind of ruin somebody's day in the race here, but I still had fun on a track that I'm not usually decent at. So
Yeah, that's always the worst. I've been in that position many of times where I've accidentally wrecked someone and then had to be in the interview booth, and it's just not a great feeling. But yeah, Levi, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, give a shout out to from that 51 Gravedigger truck?
yeah, Fairfield Auto Group, Fairfield Motorsports, and yeah, again, I'm impressed with how the league's being run, and it's a fun league. I just regretful of that dust up tonight. So I'll definitely message David and apologize further to him and move on.
Alrighty, Levi. Well, you have a good rest of your night, and look forward to seeing you out here on track next week.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was our third place finisher, Levi McCarthy. A little bit of a somber interview with him, knowing that he made a few mistakes and hurt another racer's night. A tough break for that 97 truck, and never to be fun in Levi's shoes throughout that. Now we'll get a word with the second place finisher of James Krause. We'll see if he can get a copy. James, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Brett the Jet, I got your copy.
Alrighty, man. How was that truck? And how'd you get marred in the back a little bit? We saw you up there towards the front, especially with that long green flag run. And then I saw you about 6th or 7th with that restart with 15 to go. What happened?
Oh, well, I just overshot my pit stall. And it wasn't much, but it was enough to put me back to 7th on there, or 6th or 7th on the restart. And the front row guys didn't get tires, so it was a little bit interesting.
Yeah, you could say that. Those last handful of restarts, every single one kept me on my toes, and I assume all the viewers watching at home with all different strategies going on.
Oh, yeah, it was a good time. Good time for sure.
So, Levi, James. So, with not a lot of people realizing that, overall, you got to be quick. You showed the speed, but also it comes down to the tiny little details too. With, like you said, overshooting a pit stop can alter a race dramatically just from pit road. So some good insight there. How were you able to make that 14 car so fast in that long run here tonight?
Well, I followed Doug Neal around a little bit. He's fast and very smooth. And I just kind of let him wear on his tires. And then once I got by, I just kind of took off, got in a rhythm, dialed the brake bias back a little bit and helped the car turn, and just kind of was easy on the throttle and made sure to use the whole track and not pinch the truck down and burn the tires off.
There you go. It seems like it's very key, especially in these trucks, especially at New Hampshire, with the little banking as there is, to try and manage that right front and keep as much weight and temp out of that tire. So you did a great job with that long run speed there. So, James, before we let you go, I'm sure there's got to be some people you got to thank and give a shout out to on this 14 truck here tonight for the second place finish.
Yeah, of course. I'd like to thank Team Taco, Back Row Racing, Keith Fonseca, Sonia Fonseca, Matt Wheeler, Marty Brown, and John Humphrey, Lucas Gortman, and of course my wife for letting me do this tonight.
Yep, that's always a key person to have in the thank yous there. Always a significant other to let us have all this fun on this great sim here. So, James, it was a pleasure talking to you tonight. Hopefully we can talk to you. Looking forward. How good are you at road courses as we look towards next week?
I'm excited.
All right, good. That's what we like to hear. So hopefully we'll be talking to you more in the booth as the season goes on. You have a good rest of your night, James.
You too, Brett the Jet. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, awesome stuff out of our second place finisher, James Krause. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and try and talk to the Doug Neal. Doug, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
Brett the Jet, I got you, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I don't think as good as you down here in Victory Lane. How was the truck, and how were you able to get it parked in Victory Lane here tonight?
And the truck was good early in the run, and I don't know. I can't save tires for anything. So about 40 laps, 35 laps into the run, man, I was junk. So I was very happy to see that last caution come out, because I knew if I could get up front, I could probably get a win. But so luckily that happened. And then when we started back on that green-white checker, I was really worried then, because everybody caught back up, because I had a pretty good lead right there before that green-white checker. But I don't know. I got a little luck, kept it off the wall, and kept the truck clean, so brought it home. Got lucky tonight.
Yep, that's the way to do it, Doug. Yeah, I was saying with about 5 laps to go, I'm like, the last thing Doug wants to see with that second lead is a yellow flag. And then, of course, one came, and you had to have the restart of your life, especially waiting for that green flag to come out. You couldn't launch whenever you wanted. What was going through your mind?
I was focused on getting a really good restart there, waiting on the green flag to drop, and luckily I got a pretty good jump and didn't miss any shifts and didn't redline it and hit the rev limiter, so I did pretty good there. Usually I got a bad problem about that. But when that caution came out, I was like, "Whoo! Thank goodness I don't have to race them to the end." So, because they were fast, they were faster than I was after about 20 laps or so, and we were getting pretty close to 20 laps right there at the end.
Yep, that was true. But you had some speed in the short run as you did put it on pole, Doug. So you're able to put on pole here tonight and put it in victory lane. So 2 boxes checked. I don't know if you led the most laps. I have to double check here, but you for sure got 2 out of the big 3 done here tonight at New Hampshire.
Appreciate it, man. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, Doug, we didn't get a chance to interview you last week on that 3rd place position. If you can remember back to Dover, you had some incidents on that last lap, somehow able to keep that truck straight towards the end of that race with 2 different contacts sending that truck sideways at least 45 degrees and somehow come out 3rd.
Yeah, I still don't know how I did that. I get thankful for the banking, I guess, is what helped it stay straight. But yeah, I think I came down and somebody had their nose up underneath me, and I came down at the last second, didn't realize they were up under me, and I apologize to whoever that was. But I guess just going hard right there at the end of the race.
Yep, that was true. That was a awesome race, and I still don't know how you saved both those incidents. That was some awesome driving by you, Doug.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep. But before we let you go and celebrate it down in victory lane here, Doug, I'm sure there's got to be a long list of people you got to thank for that Simbox truck here tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Nate Mauer. He spots me when I race, and I spot him. He always makes some good call. It keeps me calm during the race because I will panic in a minute. Also, my company Simbox, we make button boxes. So if anybody, we got, great button boxes at very good rate. So if anybody's, and we also do custom boxes. So if you got a design in mind, we can set it up for you and do it any way you want it, really. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me at Simbox PC on Facebook, or just send me a message and I'll be able to talk to you and set you up with whatever you need if you want, if you're interested.
Alrighty, awesome there, Doug. Well, yeah, if you're in the Simbox needs, be sure to contact Doug and check out Simbox PC, and he'll fit any needs.
I appreciate it, Brett.
Well, Doug, I'll let you go celebrate down in Victory Lane. I'm sure it's going to be a big party for that camp of yours, and hopefully we'll be talking to you here soon again.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Brett. Thank you. And always, you guys at Turn 3, you, Moose, all you guys do a good job over there.
All righty. Appreciate the love and support here for the Turn 3 boys. It is an awesome community to be a part of. And, yep, Doug, be safe, and I'm sure I'll talk to you here soon in the booth.
All right. Thanks, Brett. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. As that was our race winner, Doug Neal, we will run through the rest of the finishing order here tonight and wrap up this show for the LugCoin 90 at New Hampshire. A great race overall, folks. Hopefully you guys thought so, with some fireworks, of course, like always, as we'll go through the race results. So Doug Neal parks it in victory lane from the pole position, but without a hard battle from the cars around him. In second place, we had James Krause in the 14. Third place was Levi McCarthy in the 51. Fourth place was David Lomaga in the 34. Fifth place was Mike Killenbach in the 70. Sixth place was Keith Forneska in the 61. Seventh place was Matt Wheeler in the 768. Eighth place was Al Reed in the 3. Ninth place was Mike Rosenberger. And rounding out your top 10 was David Hartney after that heartbreaking 2 spins out of him tonight, still able to come back in the top 10. Yeah, don't mind the scoring up on the screen, folks. We had a couple disqualifications due to wrong positions on the last lap, so be sure to ignore those, as those aren't fully accurate. They give the general sense. P11 was Brad Yokman in the 93. 12th was Ethan Michaels in the 897. 13th was Jason Wiley in the 13. 14th was Frank Norman in the 72. 15th was Richard Weifenbach in the 657. 16th was Gene Cato in the 8. 17th was Joe Nelson in the 76. 18th was the 898 of Eli Ropanza. 19th was the 41 machine of Marty Brown. Rounding out the top 20 was Jeff Crosby Sr. in the 33. Coming home 21st was Johnny Baker in the 6. 22nd was Rob Lowe in the 21 machine. And rounding out your field tonight was Greg Dress in the 64. So overall, folks, a great show. What a wild finish. We'll have to see how the points shake on out with this finish. But, of course, always action-packed here at the Joe Six-Pack Racing League. Thank you to everyone, Terry and Jeff, in the comments. It's always a great time. Thank you to all the rewatchers, all the live viewers. Of course, all the Turn 3 fans, got to give them a shout-out. And, of course, all the sponsors at Joe's Six-Pack Racing League. Plan B sales, be sure to use JSP for free shipping on your order. Soma Coffee, LugCoin, and DTL Custom Designs. Be sure to check out all those for any of your needs. This is Brett the Jet signing on off. And just remember, folks, just flew by you.